Hi everyone, my name is Rebecca and I am an English teacher. So if you want to learn some English, stick along, listen, and you will pick up some English. I think that comprehensible input is an amazing way to learn in English. So how that works is I just speak, talk about a conversation, you guys know the context, and by watching, you just naturally pick up new English words. Right now, I am in the beautiful Spain. You can tell because there are no clouds in the sky. It is a bright blue sky. There is white and yellow buildings. I'm sitting outside in a dress, which I never do in Ireland. In Ireland, I'm from Ireland. It's always raining. It's always cold. It's always clouds in the sky. So it's very different here in Spain. So today I'm going to talk about the differences between Spain and my country, which is Ireland. Of course, the first difference is the weather, and I've just talked about it. It is hot here, it is sunny, the sun is always shining. I'm in the south of Spain, so the bottom of Spain, and it hasn't rained. I've been here for 2 weeks and it has not rained once. It is always a blue sky and it's nearly too hot. Okay, for me, my white skin, it is too hot. It is about 30 degrees and I prefer when it's below 25. That's when it's nice for me. And in Ireland, in our summer, it is about 15 degrees, 18 degrees at the highest for summer. So I'm not used to this heat and I thought that I wanted to get away from the cold, but it's actually too hot. But that's okay. The difference is in Spain, you have to do things early in the morning, so during sunrise, or in the evening, or when the sun has gone down. So in Spain, they do a siesta, where they sleep from lunchtime to the afternoon. And that's because it's too hot to do things during the day when the sun is at the top of the sky. That has been the biggest difference for me, is that you can't do anything during the day. It's too hot. Whereas in Ireland, we're the opposite. We do everything in the middle of the day, and at night time it's too cold, so we stay inside at night. But here you eat dinner really late because that's when it's colder and you can, actually survive, because at about 2 o'clock it's just too hot. You can't survive. You need air conditioning and a fan all the time, or you sweat too much. It's really crazy for me because during the day the town and the city becomes empty. Everyone goes inside. So from about 12 to 4 or 5, it's vanished. No people are on the streets. It's quiet. Crazy for me to see that. The next big difference between Spain and Ireland is the food. The food is very different. So it seems to be in Spain you like ham, like jamon, and you like cheese and tostada. Restaurants sell tostada, which is toast with different toppings like tomato, cheese. Maybe that's an Andalusian thing, a south of Spain thing. So that's new. Another difference is coffee. So I think a lot of people in Spain drink espresso, so that's small coffee with no milk. And if you want milk, you have to ask for milk. So the default is espresso. But in Ireland, the default is always milk. You always have milk in your coffee. You always have milk in your coffee. That's the default. And that's another difference, is the milk and the cheese. So in Spain, you don't really drink fresh milk. You drink, milk that stays in a cupboard, so like warm, and then you put it in the fridge when you use it, so it has a longer life. In Ireland, you only drink fresh milk, so you have to drink it within a week of opening it. So fresh milk is more popular, and fresh butter and cream and cheese. I think because in Ireland we have a lot of dairy farms and a lot of cow farmers. The produce in the supermarkets is very different because in Spain, because it's along the coast, the Mediterranean, where I am, there's a lot of fish, there's a lot of prawns and octopus and sea life fish for sale, whereas in Ireland there's a lot of beef and sausages and pork, more meat rather than fish. So obviously farming is different. We farm different types of animals, so the produce is very different. And in Spain there is a lot more fruit and vegetables, like fresh vegetables, because of the climate, so they can obviously grow different vegetables, whereas in Ireland we grow more potatoes and root vegetables because of it's colder climate. Where in Spain there's more fruit like peaches and oranges and lemons because of the climate. So that's a big difference. Supermarkets sell different products, so that's getting used to different diet. The diet is quite different. And then another thing that is quite different is the beaches. So we are beside beach, and the beaches in Ireland is the Atlantic Ocean. So they're huge beaches, huge waves, huge, very long strips of sand. I'll show you a picture here. And very vast and big, and very sandy. Whereas the beaches in Spain are on the Mediterranean coast, so they're like smaller, like width is smaller, and the waves are smaller, but they crash closer to the sand. And obviously the ocean here is really, really warm. So you step into it and you're warm straight away, which is crazy because in Ireland you are screaming. You're like, it's so cold. Like you have to wear a wetsuit or you're freezing, like you can't feel your fingers. So that's different. And everyone here obviously can walk about in a swimming suit or a bikini and be warm, whereas in Ireland you have to wear a jumper and a wetsuit and a hoodie. Of course, the biggest difference is the language. So obviously here everyone speaks Spanish. I am trying to improve my Spanish. I'm trying to speak Spanish to the locals, but they speak so quickly, especially in the south of Spain. They like miss their accents, and I think they're not as used to English speakers trying to speak Spanish, because the problem I'm having is because I'm English, obviously, I try to speak Spanish, but they hear straight away. In Spain, they just know Spanish is not my first language, obviously, and they just speak to me in English because they want to practice their English, or they think my Spanish isn't good or something. So even though I'm trying to practice Spanish, they just reply in English. Whereas in Ireland, you'd always speak English. You don't try and speak Spanish. I don't know, it's just different. Just because I guess more people have to know English. I am trying to practice my Spanish, but a lot of them don't want to hear my Spanish and they want to just speak English. They don't have time to try and understand me, which is a bit sad. But if someone can't speak English, then they speak Spanish to me, and that's really fun. So I enjoy that. But overall, Ireland and Spain aren't that different. It's obviously the weather, the food, the environment, but we're both European countries, so they are similar in lots of ways as well. Ireland and Spain are both very Catholic countries. You know, they have the same religion, so there's a lot of cathedrals, a lot of convents for nuns, so that's quite similar to Ireland. Quite religious countries. And then they're very kind, they're very generous. Both countries have been very welcoming and, you know, helpful. So that's the people who have been very friendly. So that's been really good. So a lot of similarities as well. But that is everything I'm going to talk about with Spain and Ireland. So I hope maybe you learned something about Ireland, maybe you learned something about Spain. Maybe if you're from Spain, it's interesting to see what other people notice. So if you are from Spain and you learned anything new or you find it interesting, let me know. in the comments if you're trying to learn English and you're Spanish. I love your country. It's been very fun to get to know it. I love the weather. I love the blue skies. It's so nice to be in a dress. I hope you learned lots of English. So thank you for watching and I'll see you later.